Hey, folks. Honor 6X. I've been back from CS for a little while now. I decided to take a bit of a vacation and I'm back. It's a new year. Happy New Year, everyone. And I'm back with some more unboxing. The Honor 6X was launched at CES. I've got one right here. I've had it for a little while. You can kind of see how it's traveled a little bit. It's been in my bag and gotten beaten around. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. Which version is this? I think this might just be a 32 gig, 3 gigabyte version. And let's open this up real quick, shall we? Because I don't really want to wait much longer to show you this. Dun 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 dun. So, just a heads up before we get started. I don't know what came upon me, but when I was at CES, I got 3 phones. So you're going to get 3 reviews in a row today. This is the first one. And this phone, for whatever reason, I received and decided to peel off the stickers from the screen. So I did that with all 3 of the phones I received. I have no idea why, because now it's kind of like half-ass unboxing if the plastic cover front and back of the phone is being removed already. But I just didn't want to lie to you guys. So here we go. Here's the Honor 6X, and here it is with a dual camera action. We can get into this in a second. I'll turn it on as well. God, it's so dusty. Let me wipe it down. There we go. So let's see what else is in the box. As I said, I don't know what I was thinking, but all 3 of the phones I'm going to be reviewing today were brand new in the box, and I did peel the screen protectors off and never even used them, so I don't even know why I did that. Dun dun dun! Warranty card in Spanish and in English, of course. Let's see what else we got. We've got a SIM removal tool. This is kind of an annoying design. Let me do this. SIM removal tool. I see it opens both sides. SIM removal tool right here, and you've got a spot for what looks like it might have been earbuds, but mine didn't come with earbuds. And then here you have a standard, probably quick charge capable or fast charge capable USB charger. But here's a little disappointing part, is that this phone does not have USB Type-C. Let's see if I can show you this without making too much noise. As you can see in here, just a USB micro connector. So not sure why they did that, but hey, here you go. So that's what's in the box. Really not that much. Let's still have a look at the phone, shall we? Honor 6X. Let's turn it on. I'm sure the screen will be blindingly powerful. Looks really nice. It's pretty thin. Not sure how thick it is, but as you can see, it's a pretty thin phone. I'll walk you around in a second. So this is really the successor to the Honor 5X that was a US market product last year for Honor, for the launch of the Honor brand in the US, the official launch. You can buy these online by going to highhonor.com, I think. And there you go, it wants me to set it up. So let me walk you through what this phone is about. It's a little bit of an upgrade of the 5X in a number of ways. First of all, it's not running a Qualcomm Snapdragon chip anymore. This is actually running Huawei. You know, Honor is a Huawei-owned brand. It's running Huawei's HiSilicon Kirin 655, which is kind of like a mid-range chip, I think. And it comes with 3 gigs of RAM or 32 gigs of storage, which I think is what I have, but also as a version with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. You have a 5.5-inch panel here in the front. I think this is an IPS panel. It looks pretty decent, although, you know, as I said, I have to set it up to go see more colors to judge it better, but it seems really close to the glass, meaning that it probably has... I don't know if this is a scratch or some dirt. Oh, it's just dirt. It probably has a pretty decent in-cell touchscreen. And then the other thing is, I wanted to point out that one of the big disappointments of the 5X last year did not have an anti-oil coating, like an oleophobic coating. Sorry. So that meant that you get fingerprints all over the glass so quickly. This does appear to have a coating. It does appear to have 2.5D glass, like basically slightly edged, curved on the edges. So Kirin 655, 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, or 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage. There is micro SD expansion here in the SIM slot. The way this works is a dual SIM phone like last year, 2 nano SIMs. One of the SIM cards can be replaced with a micro SD card, meaning that you can expand storage at the expense of one of the SIMs. You also noticed right from the beginning earlier when I started the video that this has dual cameras, but it's not like the Honor 8. This has a 12 megapixel, I think it's the top one, and then it has a 2 megapixel below it. And the idea here, I think, is that the 2 megapixel complements the 12 to give you depth perception, so you can do a variable aperture and focusing after the fact. Just like the HTC M8 back in the day that had a main camera and a 2 megapixel shooter. The 2 megapixels is on top on the M8. You can see there's a fingerprint reader here. And thankfully this year, the 6X does have support for NFC, meaning you can do Android Pay. Last year's 5X did not support Android Pay. It had a fingerprint reader, but no NFC. So LED flash, looks like a single color, maybe a dual LED, I'm not sure. Those 2 and 12 megapixel cameras. So unlike the Honor 8 or the P9 or the Mate 9, this does not have a monochrome and color sensor set. Doesn't have matching megapixels, color and black and white. It has this basically main camera 12 and then a 2 megapixel that gives you depth perception. The end caps here are plastic. The back is all aluminum metal. The top end cap is also plastic. So that's basically the back of it with the camera as a fingerprint sensor and, as I said, NFC. Under the hood here you have a 3340 milliamp hour battery. This should be a really good phone in terms of battery life. The Kirin chipsets are very efficient. The 655 should be no exception, so that's what we're expecting here. Then let me give you a quick tour of the edges. So as I showed earlier, there is a volume rocker here and a power lock key. Pretty standard fare here on the right-hand side. The left-hand side, let me fire this up again. The left-hand side here has the SIM slot, which, as I said, is dual SIM, dual nano, but one of the nano SIMs can be an SD card if you're willing to expand storage without having 2 SIMs in there. Headphone jack on top. As you can see, this is a testament to how thin this phone is. And then, of course, the secondary microphone on top here. On the bottom, you have what looks like 2 speakers. It's really just a mono speaker. One of them is for the microphone, one of them is for the mono speaker. And this is the vexing part that I mentioned when I unboxed it a second ago and showed you the charging cable. It only has micro USB, no USB Type-C. Just a little disappointment, I guess, for a mid-range phone. This will do the trick. And again, 5.5 inch, 1080p. So this is not a, of course, Quad HD display, 2K display. This is just a 1080p. But you know, at $250, this is a price point for this phone. I think this checks all the boxes. The only big competitor is going to be the ZTE Blade 8 Pro that we also saw launch at CES, which has a dual camera on the back as well, but that's a true dual camera, like with 2 identical megapixel count sensors. And that phone has similar specs, similar design, but costs only $239, and it'll also be sold unlocked in the US. So it'll be a big fight between those 2 phones in the US unlocked in this price range. So there you have it. In a nutshell, the Honor 6X, at least until I dig into it and start using it and play with it. Looks nice, feels really nice in hand, it's really nice and thin. Definitely a nice evolution over the 5X from last year. But, you know, as the price indicates, this is not in any way a replacement for the, I should put this back to US. This is definitely not a replacement for the Honor 8, which is a smaller phone with a 5.2-inch screen, but a much better camera setup. It's basically the P9 for the US market. Check out my YouTube channel, because I did do an unboxing of the Honor 8 when I got it in August. One last thing I want to talk about really quickly. This company called Energy here has sent me this cable. Here is their brand, Energy. This cable's been around my bag for a couple of months now, and it's actually really cool because look at it. It takes USB Type-C as an input, right? So I can plug in my Nexus or Pixel charger or my charger for any of the high-end phones I have that's USB-C, and then converts it to micro USB, good old micro USB. For this phone, this is kind of ideal. I plug this in here like that, and I just plug my USB Type-C charger or data cable on this end, and now I can use this phone without, I mean, there's some smaller adapters available, but this is nice that it's a cable. And I want to thank the folks at Energy for sending me this review unit. So consider this, I guess, my Energy USB-C to micro USB adapter review, because there's really nothing to complain about. This cable works, and it's a nice one. So there you have it. Anyway, the Honor 6, here's all the loot, the manuals in here, and the rest of the box right here. Hope you enjoyed this unboxing. Stay tuned for more unboxings. I got a couple more today. Two great phones I got at CES. And thanks for watching. Subscribe down here, like the video, all that good jazz. Again, Honor 6X phone launched at CES. Pretty awesome mid-ranger for the specs. Finally has NFC and kind of a dual camera setup, at least a cheap man's dual camera setup. Cheers.